Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is the Woodridge Parents Podcast, episode number 10. Ooh. This is my beautiful and lovely wife, Kelly.
Hello again.
Is Daniel. We are the Staleys. Technically did skip a week on episodes because we weren't really feeling too good.
It happens.
But we did post some clips. And that one clip, I don't know if you even pay attention to the clips on Instagram. The one clip about Danny and like learning, about his medal and how he needs to learn from tough losses. That's got almost 2,000 views already. A lot of likes, a lot of comments. A lot of your Lyndhurst people have been liking and commenting.
Yes, people have been talking to me when I'm at school and stuff. So yeah,
I think we should maybe just start. I wouldn't even have to be involved because that would be sweet. But involved. But we could start the Lyndhurst Teachers Podcast.
Yeah, that would be an interesting thing to do. We'll see.
I wonder what your contract says about that.
I don't know. I would have to talk to my boss. I'm not really sure because you can't, you can't talk about children. Obviously, you can't talk about. Oh, sorry.
Do you hear the difference?
I do.
So
maybe
if you're gonna look at me, then just.
I figured it out.
Okay.
Because it was too much over. I didn't know I can kind of go like this, and
you could push it all directions.
I didn't realize that.
There you go.
But I think I'm good now, right?
There you go. Go ahead. I'm sorry for cutting you.
No,
off.
it's okay. It would have to be very very structured, I feel, and there would have to be a lot of boundaries so you don't slip and kind of say certain things that you're not supposed to be saying. That's confidential.
We make cuts from this when we say all dirty and disgusting things before we actually go live.
No, I know, but once people start talking, it's very interesting. And it's kind of hard to cut everything down.
It's been churning here.
So we'll see. So we'll see about that.
I guess that is a kind of good segue into what we wanted to talk about, coming off a couple things, but one being my ticket that I got at Doyle.
And do you want to know what? He didn't even I found it. It was supposed to be a surprise on the podcast.
It was going to be a surprise on the podcast last week when we were going to do it. And then we ended up not doing it because we were still not feeling great. Mm-hmm. So that was going to be the surprise. So, and I've talked to a couple of people about the histories of this. So the parking and pickup situation at Doyle, not super great.
No.
A couple things. Well, actually, to be fair, it's not that bad. If they would just let us park in the quote unquote illegal yellow spots that I always park in, everything was great.
Well, here's the thing, though. You have to understand there's going to be a lot less parking now because the teacher's parking lot is non-existent. So they have to get there and
it's going to get worse when there's more kids going to the school.
Well, yes, it's going to be interesting.
So I generally would park close to the corner in the yellow.
Where you're not supposed to park.
Not supposed to. I would stay in the car till minutes before Danny had to, before he gets out. And it's generally not an issue. Now, listen, if a fire engine has to come through and my car's caught there and I'm, then by all means, tow it away, rip it apart, jump in there. And I always do kind of just leave it on. If it was an emergency, jump in there and get rid of it. Again, I know I'm not supposed to. Fine. I get it. But it's almost like at random that they write the tickets. So here's kind of where I'm going with this and here how it kind of links into the podcast. Mm-hmm. So I do know the officer, Lieutenant, I believe it is, Lieutenant Ritigliano. Mm-hmm. And he hadn't even put it on my window by the time we got back in the car. And I saw him there and I kind of shuffled Danny in. I'm like, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
And he gets out of the car and he had already written it or printed it out.
Yeah.
And he hands it to me. And I know Joe for many, many years. He lives across the street from Joey. And I didn't really bust his chops. I mean, you get caught and you get caught. But he goes, bro, what are you doing? He goes, you should know better than that. He goes, you got your podcast and all now. And how are you going to be doing this? And for a second, I'm like, whoa, wait a second. I mean, I guess I should be happy that apparently the podcast is churning around town and that the police officers know about the podcast. But also I was like, what does that even mean? What does that have to do with anything?
Honestly, it probably means that you shouldn't be getting special treatment. That's what it is.
Maybe. And I was talked off the ledge by other officers. But it also, to be fair to him, probably means, you know, you have the podcast, people know you're in town, you're being a jerk, and then everyone sees it, and then everyone else is going to want to be a jerk. I get it. I understand.
No, I understand. I get it.
So again, I'm not even really, we'll pay the $50 for the ticket. But the two things that I kind of wanted to address in general there. Okay. The parking situation, the pickup situation is not really that great.
It's horrible.
So if we're parked in the yellow for less than 5 minutes and there is no, police or fire engine that needs to come in, I think it's kind of lame to issue tickets for literally less than 10 minutes. It is illegal. Fine. I think that's kind of lame. I'm not like saying they shouldn't do it. If they really wanted to, they could put up like those permanent little,
or the cones.
Not even the cones, because they do put up the cones. And
did you move the cone?
No,
I was gonna say.
No. But there have been times where I've moved the cones. But.
And that gives me anxiety. I can never do that.
Okay. Well, yes. And I was wrong to do so. I get it. And I agree. That being said, I don't know really what could be done about the parking, and it's not even the parking, it's the pickup thing in general, which goes into the second point that I wanted to make.
Okay.
And I talked to actually people at the beefsteak about this, Sarlo, even Marcella, the prosecutor, because I was curious like the legalities about this, and none of them really even knew. When did it become a law where, or whatever, a rule, because it's like that in your school too, in Lyndhurst, where I have to walk up to the kid's teacher and say, "Hey, here I am. Give me the kid." What? Because listen, in kindergarten, I don't know, maybe we weren't allowed to walk home, but I specifically remember walking home from Doyle with like Christine Opito and Dana D'Angelico, Jennifer Roy. Like, they all lived down here. We all lived by each other. And I'm going to knock this over.
I was going to say, be careful.
But I remember, like, it's 2 blocks away. So when did that become a thing that you had to pick them up like hand in hand?
Honestly, I mean, since my mom was teaching, so it was a very, very long time.
But I don't know, like, if that's true.
Okay, well, I remember.
You never walked home without your parent picking you up?
I walked home, but it wasn't up until maybe like 5th grade.
Yeah, but at St. Michael's, you're like close to there.
No, I was. I mean, you have to cross Ridge Road and everything, but there's a crossing guard there. But I would say, because Scott was older than me too, we used to walk home sometimes when like my parents couldn't pick us up or my grandmother couldn't get us. But I would say 4th grade, because then my brother was in like 8th grade, so like he would like walk me home and everything. Yeah, I don't know. But I mean,
crazy. Listen, I don't think a kid should be walking from Doyle to over 17 on, Bergen Street.
But you have to understand the climate of everything now too. Well, listen to me. And again, I'm not for. I mean, I wouldn't want Danny to walk home in 1st grade by himself at all. I would say maybe 3rd grade is fine. But okay, listen,
I didn't say anything.
But the way things are, okay, you want to get in trouble later? The way things are right now, like they're. Even with like the sports or tape, everyone has a participation medal. It's kind of links with that. How there's
let the kids have freedom.
Because there's no real responsibility. No one really trusts the kids. And honestly, like you hear more and more about kids, not even people like abducting them, God forbid, but like just like kids themselves, like fighting each other. It's all the legalities from the school. I'm telling you.
Okay, Kelly.
Yes.
When was the last time you heard of kids in Woodridge fighting each other?
I'm not talking. What?
You just said it. It's you hear about these things happening.
But, okay,
when was the last time you heard kids in Woodridge beating up the elementary school kids?
All right. So I haven't heard that in Woodridge. But, I mean, there are going to be.
I love you, Aunt Georgette, but you sound like Aunt Georgette. Who's screaming that there's all these gangs of kids jumping kids in Lyndhurst. And, it's really not.
All right. But the law is the law,
Sure.
and they're not going
This
to
idea
allow children
that-
to walk home. What I think there should be is I think there should be staggered dismissal times.
Sure.
And that is very doable because we have done it before, where if there's going to be pre-K through grade 3 or maybe next year pre-K through 4th grade, the 4th grade comes in earlier anyway, I think. So have them come in earlier. You stagger the time. So then parents grab their kid, they leave. And then by that time, there'll be a lot, like every 10 minutes or so. So there will be more pickup times and there will be more, you know.
I get it.
I think that would be a better situation. But, you know.
If they live a couple blocks away, should be able to walk them.
But the thing is, too, you don't know. There is a law, I think, too. I'm not exactly sure what the law is, but a child isn't supposed to be home by themselves till a certain age. So
okay, but there's kids who we know who I help pick up because their grandma's got to drag kids up the block.
Someone is at home waiting for them.
Okay, fine.
Maybe some of these children that would be quote unquote walking home by themselves, there's no one home waiting for them.
Okay, but I'm not saying like the parents have to. I'll even be fine with saying like the parent has to like sign something and authorize it.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, like again, there's kids at the school who we help out who live a half a block from the school. But like in rain, hail, sleet, and snow, their grandma's got to drag out, you know, a little kid with them because they got a little brother. It just seems silly. Let the kid walk home.
And you don't know if the child will even feel
but that's
feels
not
comfortable walking
that's
home
not
either.
the school's responsibility. I'm not saying make them walk home. If the parent wants to pick them up, pick them up. Mm-hmm. But the idea that we are forced to go stand there so the kid can walk to us, or God forbid you sit in the car and let the kid walk out and get in the car. That causes a whole thing too. Like, why? It's not the school's responsibility. Like, it is, obviously. If nobody shows up to pick the kid up, and it wasn't prefaced that the kid's going to walk home, but don't let the kid walk home. But if the mom calls and says, hey, I'm running late from work, or, you know, let the kid walk home. He lives, like, what if you live across the street from Doyle? Like, there's houses.
Well, no, I
right
understand
there,
that. I understand that.
Right there. And, okay, it's easy. You get to just walk across the street and say, hey, give me the kid. But, like, that's kind of silly, dude. It's not the school's responsibility to make sure that somebody's at home. I mean, I know it is to some certain extent. But if I say let the kid walk home, you let the kid walk home. It then becomes the parent's responsibility. Now, I understand that there's probably people who abuse the legal system to sue schools, things that they don't have anything to do with. So I understand them being wary of that. But at some point, we have to go back to having personal responsibility ourselves.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But that was interesting, parking ticket. I guess it does go with this other thing, construction at Doyle. So there was a post today, actually by a good friend of mine, Josh Merrill.
Okay.
Well, go ahead, Kelly.
Was it about basketball, the post? Or no? Okay, go ahead. Sorry. I'll pick that up later.
I mean, it might have been about basketball, but I don't, you know. So he said something, Josh Merrill, wonderful person, good friend of mine. I didn't necessarily understand it because I'm not like a construction guy, but it was something about them doing, he was calling it picking, which I think is when they like pick up those big steel metals with like a crane and stuff like that.
Are you like that big crane you can see like from our house and it has like a little like wire? And...
Correct.
Okay.
From what I think he was saying, I could bring it up, but whatever.
Yeah.
Was that they were using that crane while kids were in the gym.
That's the exact same post I was talking about.
Right.
Okay, because they were playing basketball in the okay,
whatever they were doing. They could have been playing field hockey or gym hockey.
Okay.
Which I mean I get. You know, that's God forbid that thing falls of the crane because it certainly happens. That's a little kind of crazy. I never really even thought about it, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I have seen like. Because I go to work early, so like I leave here by 5:30 a lot of times, and there's like dudes there. There's truck. They would have like deliveries. The one time, I forget where it was. I don't know why I was out before school, but I feel like there was like a big truck there at like 6.
Really?
And I was like, or whatever. It might have even been like later. It might have been like 6:30, quarter to 7. I was like, there's a lot of stuff on that truck, like big concrete. I was like, I hope they're done with that by the time the kids are getting here. Like, you know, And then they were complaining about like concrete stuff and rocks being all over the ground that the kid's gonna walk in.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. But he was saying you have to stick to the timelines, which I also get. It's tough, man, because people want that done. People want it open.
Yeah, they do.
Next year, and
I mean, like they've done so much since since they started. But I mean, I know that parents, obviously I'm a little nervous too. Like, hopefully all those large things that they're, like picking up are not over Danny's classroom. God forbid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I guess Josh is right. Yeah, good. Josh, you're right.
I mean, because God forbid, you never know, and I mean,
so that's another. So he's married to Melissa Caputo, Melissa Merrill. She's a teacher somewhere. I don't think I'm going to do. I think her parents are right across the street from Doyle. Like literally on that street, like right there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember, like, if she just walked home or the parents. Like, listen, a lot of parents came and picked them up.
Yeah.
But, I remember walking home down the block. Mm-hmm. Shout out Jackie Gutierrez. It was like literally right there. Her father still lives.
Yeah.
And her parents still live right in the corner there. It's just, even, our good friend who lives by the park on 10th.
Now you would just walk to your dad's house then after school every day,
or my mom's.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool.
There was someone home. I was not going home to nobody.
No, I know you had everyone
Especially
here. Everyone here.
Well, great grandma used to be here all the time. Like if she wasn't home during the day, like I would have known. Like they would say, "Hey, we're taking grandma somewhere."
Yeah, of course.
Which is, now that I think about that, I'm kind of like embarrassed, but like she was up in the back room, Johnny's bedroom.
Yeah.
And she would have like a TV and a chair, and she'd be listening to the TV and blaring the TV. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times she wouldn't hear the doorbell or even me banging. So like we had the little mail slot on the door. Mm-hmm. So you think about these things. Like I vividly remember opening that mail slot and screaming, screaming at the top of my lungs. They must have thought I was a lunatic. Or like you'd go in the back and throw rocks at the window.
I hear you.
But I mean, she was always home, but that was the thing. She's 83 years old at that point. She's not walking up to. I see all these people like all the time. You see these like older ladies like it's coming from Westmont, coming from all over the place. Like
I know.
I want to throw them all in the truck, but like I don't even have a grocery for Danny. I don't know, like, I kind of feel bad. Like the kid's 48 years old.
Well, my grandmother used to walk up from her house, come pick me up when I was little. And Scott.
Listen, apparently back in the day, everyone walked up the hill 2 ways in the snow.
Yeah.
Which is actually crazy. Aunt Nan and like Uncle Don and them, when they lived on the farm in upstate New York, that's where my dad was born, but then they moved shortly after. Like they literally did like have to walk in the snow.
Yeah.
Far to get to the bus stop. And I think there was like, they had newspaper articles they cut out about like storms with like 6 feet of snow. Like there were like a helicopter came to like bring them food or something.
That actually reminds me of something. So when my dad was in first grade, when my dad was in first grade, my Uncle Greg used to go and pick him up from school. And one day they went down to the park and my Uncle Greg just left my dad there in first grade. But my dad made it back,
Of course he made it back.
But like, it's just, because like even like in the school, like unless like the person is the child, like the older sibling is maybe 5th or 6th grade, they still can't pick up their younger brother or sister.
It's crazy.
Which is kind of crazy.
If we put Danny and Johnny at the Boulevard Park right now, and like we were able to keep them from freaking out, like
they would never do with us.
Calm, and
where are you going?
We said, listen, this is an adventure you're going to go on. We're going to put you at the Boulevard Park. We want you to walk home. We're watching you from a satellite, so you're safe. Or if they had, like those watches or whatever. And we didn't tell them how to get there. I think they would be fine.
They know how to get to my parents' house from
I know.
here.
They tell you how to. They give you tips all the time how to get to places.
And they yell at me when I take a wrong way. Like, Mom, are you sure you're going the right way? Yeah, I do know how to get to my old house. I'm I'm pretty good.
Yeah, dude, I think they would.
I think they'd be fine. Honestly, it's just I think that John would be a little bit nervous just not having one of us there.
Well, of course.
Honestly.
Because he's never
done
has
it.
I mean, by the time we were in like 4th, 5th, 6th,
Oh, that's different. That's different. Yeah.
Like, we had our bikes just going around town.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
He would definitely be able to figure out how to get home.
Well, I mean, come 4th grade, like Danny is starting to walk home by himself, but John will still be there at 2nd grade. So
Oh, gee,
I don't know how that would be.
Can they? Like, what if
I
they're
don't
at
know.
Doyle?
Well, in 4th grade. In 4th grade, you
and then can he pick up his brother?
You see, I don't.
So now I got to still come pick him up. Jeez.
See, I don't know, honestly. Like, just because, again, that's not even that far away. But in 4th grade, they're able to walk home because in my school, I'm still at the baby school, K through 2. But I know at the other, the 3 through 5 schools, 3rd grade you still have to see the parent, and 4th grade they can just like let them go. But I don't know. Like, I don't even remember how it was when it was K through 8.
The same school, or do the 4th graders go to a bigger school?
No, so there's 2 schools, Roosevelt and Jefferson, that are grades 3 through 5, and then the middle school 6 through, and like the middle school is like whatever. But yeah.
Shout out to the DPW. The heavy snow today. We're shooting on Super Bowl Sunday.
Yes.
Thank gosh that I got my snowblower working.
Yes. Thank you.
The streets are very clean, so shout out to those guys.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Bob Newsom, next door neighbor, for allowing me to use his ratchet bit again. I don't really understand why it didn't start again, but when I did spray the starter fluid on, it worked right away.
Perfect. Yeah.
So, because it was a brand new, because last time we got a generous gift of a free snowblower from Uncle Jay Casey, which I never even looked up, but from looking it up, I think it might have been like $1,500.
Yeah.
Thank you, Uncle Jay. And I couldn't get it to work initially the last time we had the heavy snow, so I MacGyvered it and ended up getting the spark plug out, but I didn't have a bit long enough to reach the spark plug, so shout out to neighbor Bob Newsom for having that bit, and I got the spark plug out, put a new spark plug in, and it worked.
Thank you.
But then I went to use it the last time we didn't really even have that much snow, just to kind of get it going again, and it did not work. So this time I got the bit again, pulled the spark plug out, sprayed the starter fluid in, and put it back in, and it worked. It was like putting though, so
yeah.
Anybody knows anything about snowblowers, and the snowblower was putting a little bit, even though it did have gas. I guess I could check the oil, but I don't really know anything about that.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Shout out Town Plowing. So again, it is Super Bowl day. Who do you have any boxes, Kelly? I don't have any boxes.
I do. I have 2 boxes from school.
Spending money and gambling, huh?
Well, yeah, but my parents actually gave me the money for the boxes,
well,
so it's always a plus.
Fair enough, Kelly.
Well, they bought a lot of boxes. You know how they like to gamble.
Speaking of boxes. I'm actually a little frustrated a bit because we at the Lions Club, we used to do a lot of Super Bowl boxes. And we made a good bit of money from them.
Yeah.
But since we kind of culminate them at the beefsteak, we ended up not doing them any longer because the state has really started to crack down on locations.
Oh, really?
With illegal gambling and Super Bowl boxes, which is ironic and unfortunate because, class of 32, class of 34, class of, like all these classes, every sports team, everything, every group from every town around here, all posts them on Facebook and sells them constantly.
Everywhere.
Nobody busts their chops, but the Lions as an organization who does like 50,000 plus a year in charities, they do kind of bust our chops, and they haven't actually busted our chops. But the kind of the real rub here is we work with the Fiesta and do our beefsteak at the Fiesta. So it's actually the state busting the Fiesta's chops. They say, if you allow them to do these illegal things, you're going to lose your liquor license, or you're going to lose this or that. And the club will get fined. I mean, yes, but it's kind of like the parking ticket. Is it illegal or is it not illegal? It's not legal. So, that's pretty much the gist of it. It's just similar to the parking ticket. They're giving, they're not giving everybody tickets, just the bigger organizations and the more popular people.
Exactly. Wow.
I know that. That didn't come out right.
Not at all. But that's okay. I'll skip over that one.
So I thought that was interesting, to say the least. The beefsteak went well. Did have a lot of people. Did have some complaints about the beef. But some people saying
Really?
that they didn't believe it was actually like the tenderloin or whatever it's supposed to be.
Did it taste different, or I mean,
It was okay. It was a little well done for my liking.
I like a nice pink inside.
It tasted okay. I guess now that I think about it, it wasn't like amazing, which it usually is pretty amazing.
Yeah. Was it buttery at all, or no?
It was buttery,
Like
but
too
then,
much though. Like was
no,
kind of
but,
masking it.
It was almost like the butter wasn't sticking to the meat, and it just went all in the bread.
That's weird.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, I had a bunch of it, and it was fine, but it didn't. I don't know.
Wasn't like it used to be.
Yeah, I guess. They did a cornhole bag toss this year instead of the football or golf toss. I think one person won it.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of people who entered, so that was good. All in all, it did seem to. I think it filled out, so that's always good.
That's good.
And it went well. Vibes were a little low, but I think we'll.
Why do you think the vibes were low?
I don't know. The energy just wasn't the same. It seemed like there's.
Was there a lot of like new people there?
Not as many super new people, to be honest. And there's like a large group of people who support kind of the majority of the like raffles and stuff like that. And, and those people end up kind of aging out. It's going to be a tough situation.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I don't know. We gotta hype it up a little bit more.
Yeah.
But so in regards to the Super Bowl, there's also a new football coach at Woodridge. I actually probably should have got his name, but I guess I'll. Woodridge football coach. Woodridge. Andrew Carbone. Coach Carbone. Welcome, Coach Carbone, to the Woodridge Blue Devils. Apparently he teaches at like Sussex Tech or something like that. So that's pretty deep, and I don't know how he's.
Wow, how does he get there?
Practice,
yeah.
But that's fine. I don't have any necessarily beef with this guy. I was a little upset that the other guy left. The guy Cutrona. We had some really good runs the past number of years. I don't know if it was the kids or the coach. He was seemingly a pretty good coach. I always heard really good things about him, and he probably, I mean, coaching wise, probably had one of the better 4 years run of a coach Woodridge has had in a long time. So that was kind of unfortunate, but shout out to Coach Carbone. Hopefully he has huge success. I mean, I would like to think that he'll still be there by the time Danny's up in high school, but geez, that's the way things go now. You never know. I mean, he's in first grade now, so
that's
like
a while.
7 years.
Yeah.
Well, listen, if Coach Carbone's still here in 7 years, that probably means he's had success.
Yeah.
And we wish him all the luck in the world.
Absolutely.
So good luck, Coach Carbone. Baseball signups are still. Did they close? They still open?
I think
they're very soon.
I think they just closed.
You should probably.
Yeah.
As Phil Romero knows, there'll be about 100 kids to still sign up after the close.
Yeah.
But you should be okay on that. So check that out. Kelly, what did you have about the summer family vacations?
No, well, first you want to do about the stuff at the schools, like Doyle and stuff like that.
Well, we can end with that.
Okay. No, well, I mean, like I know now is around the time that people start talking about and planning for, like family vacations and everything. Everything is super expensive lately. It's very hard to actually, because I remember when I was younger, we would go down the shore for a week. We go down the North Wildwood or Wildwood Crest. We would eat at this I forget what the name of the Italian restaurant was, but every single when we the first day we got down there,
I went to that Italian restaurant too. When I went to
I think it's my mom what it was, but it was that one Italian restaurant that was like really good down there. We either the first night and then the last night, and we would go on all the rides, and they would just go on the beach for a while. But like,
what kind of hotel would you stay in? Like a hotel?
The Hialeah.
I don't know what that is.
It was a motel, right. But
I'm sure it was fine. But so this is kind of the thing, and maybe I don't know, maybe we inadvertently don't even think about it. Like your parents especially, and probably us too, especially since I worked at Marriott and we had like discounts and stuff like that. Are we too bougie to go and do that now?
I don't know, but I know
I'm
that
not staying in a motel, dude. Like,
well,
I'm sorry.
there's a
And
backstory.
we're poor people. Like, I'm not staying in a motel.
There's a backstory to that though. Because we always go down with my grandmother and my Papa John, you know? And, you know, he had a polio. So there's this one special room. It was a really big room. It was like I was on the first floor. And that was just like our tradition of going down there. You know what I'm saying? And that was actually
I get
the
it,
first.
dude. I've heard that. That's you know, I've heard that story before, and I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's nice. I'm sure.
Again, going back in the 80s and 90s, like it was definitely kind of like a different world down there too.
But I just, you know, and I remember we went to Wildwood for the Elks, like the Elks getaway, or we basically had the Nurse Elks had the whole motel.
Yeah.
And it was nice. There was the pool and everything. It was clean and sufficient. And fun.
Yeah.
But I mean, the way your parents go to Atlantic City and stuff all the time, like,
I don't
if
think
there's no
now,
gambling, they're not staying in a motel.
No, I don't think
They'll stay in a motel if there's gambling.
Yes. I don't think now that would be the case just because, you know, like it's just different now. You know what I'm saying?
And we did take the kids to Atlantic City and it was fun.
We did. It was fine.
We only went one.
It was
one
2
day?
nights.
2 nights?
It was 2 nights because one night they kept the kids for us.
Oh, right.
And then the other night, you know, we went out, you know, for like a little bit.
Yeah.
But
they only kept the kids for a little bit. You know.
Well, because we came back up early because we didn't really. It was just kind of like we weren't winning, so we came back early, and they were like, "Wait, why you guys went back here?" Like, we weren't pulling anything.
Yeah,
you know.
So it was good. I don't know. I guess if you don't go to Atlantic City, then you would just want to just go to the regular beach.
Yeah.
I can't I don't know. I hear like terrible stories all the time from the beaches. Seaside. I never take the kids to Seaside now.
No, not now.
Never.
No.
You know, Point Pleasant, maybe, but I just, we're not beach people. Although I have stayed, I have done it.
Oh nice. So so would we. It's just there's not that many things to do if you're not going to go on the beach the entire day. Right. And you're going to pay $300 a night for, excuse my French, a shithole. Yeah. And honestly, I'd rather put that money towards something else.
Yeah. Well, what about this Tom's River place? Not Tom's River, Lake George.
Okay, so my mom and me were actually having a conversation because like she knows that we can't go on the beach all day long, and like now her and my dad too, like they're way past that.
Your mom got toasted in Florida.
I know,
and insisted that
and I yelled at her. Yes,
and was just like.
Yes,
and like not feeling well the whole time.
How about our family? I was a crazy person in Florida. Yeah. I'm like, all right.
And I keep hearing all these things about like sunblock is not really good for you, and you should get the sun. But then I'm like, I've been burnt terribly before, and I just rather give them the sunblock.
Well, no, we are giving them the sunblock.
I don't
trust
ever want
me.
the boys to get sunburned.
No,
I feel terrible.
I've gotten very bad sunburn over the years, and I don't want to have any scares or anything, but like even in Florida, we made time. I had a lot of sunblock. You didn't get sunburn at all. And I was the official sunblock person. I made sure every inch of their bodies, even if it was covered by, like their clothing, everything was covered. They had their hats when they need them. They had actually their, this is actually one of the things I wore too. It was you got this for me. Mm-hmm. It's like a 50 SPF shirt. I love these.
We make the fishing shirts.
No, yeah. And honestly, and they're nice and light, and it was perfect. I mean, like the boys did not even get a little bit red. There was like nothing. Yeah, but going back to what I was talking about with my mom, because like she knows that we want to go on vacation someplace, but we don't want to spend a lot of money, and we are not going to be on the beach for hours on end. So she knows that we like Six Flags. So we used to go to Lake George when I was younger, and that was the first place that I learned how to swim. I was like a year and a half old. My mom said, "Kelly, jump in the water." I go, "Okay." I jumped in head first. She's like, oh, this is how this was going to be. Okay. Oh, great. Second born. But there's this place called, Six Flags Great Escape. It's with the Six Flags, a family company or whatever. Different rides and everything. But again, it's a big theme park. They also have the Six Flags Lodge where they have an indoor theme park, an indoor water park there as well. But again, with that too, you also have the lakes there. You have the North Pole, like where you can go see Santa and everything, where, I was doing a little research just to kind of like see how much it would be, And the rooms there are really cute too. Like I saw one room, again, it's not cheap, but starting out maybe like $236, depending on like what time of the summer you go also.
Right.
And like, you know, like what time of the week you go and everything. They have those cute little like 2-bedroom rooms where, you know, the kids have their little bunk beds and they're, decorated like, you know, like a lake. And then
it used to be a Kalahari or something.
Well, that would make sense because the Kalahari has had those indoor water parks too. It's not like Great Wolf Lodge. It's not as big, I don't think. But again, like it's just something different where we know. Oh, my thing fell out. Where there will be something for us to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? And with having the season passes, we would get into there free. So you're basically only paying for the hotel and food. I mean, again,
Even
it's just
if
something to think about.
like season pass for Great Adventure.
I think so. Yes. Again, I haven't delved that much into it yet. I just want to get an idea because even if we went for like 3 or 4 days, I mean, again, we'd be driving somewhere. We have, a couple hours away where we're not home, but something for, the boys to look forward to and something that I know that we would all enjoy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's just like one little idea. I know we talked about possibly Vermont again for a couple days.
Yeah.
But, I think something like that where they love going on rides, just be kind of like a good.
We should go skiing.
I don't know.
Skiing's fun.
It is, but that would be in the wintertime, right? They don't have skiing during summer.
No.
But I mean, yeah, we could also do something like that. That one place that we saw in Vermont was gorgeous. Probably super expensive, but it was
Vermont
gorgeous.
For the summer. Yeah, I mean, Vermont for the summer's good.
Just like little road trips.
We would have to we would have to go hiking and stuff like that. We're not going to
No, I know.
not do that because that's really only stuff you got up there.
No, yeah, definitely.
I've seen all the trinket shops that Vermont has to.
And
to
honestly, like we're with boys, like they're not going to want to deal with that nonsense. I'm sorry, like they're not going to want to see little trinkets. That's not what they're about, But just like certain things to think about, just because like Disney would be great, but that's a lot of money, and we have to wait till all the stuff is built up again.
No, we're not.
All the new things.
That's not happening again for a while.
Yeah, but just different ideas because this is the time that people have to start thinking about what they're going to do because things sell out really fast. Unfortunately,
we'll get the Great Adventure Pass again.
Yeah, that was always fun.
Well, I guess we can go early because a lot of the stuff doesn't open until like Memorial Day.
Yeah, you're right.
And it's like it's kind of grimy before Memorial Day.
It really is. We have to wait till.
Now again, we had this was like weeks after we came back from Disney.
Yeah.
So we were like a little
like I know, I know.
But and they don't have like all the college kids that are working yet and stuff like that.
It's a very skeleton crew.
Yeah. But I mean, a lot of the kids' rides are still open. They love going on that, but. God, I almost hope actually that they get big enough soon to just go on the regular rides because
I know.
You don't really love the rides, so like I kind of
no. It's not that I don't
by myself.
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
you wouldn't just leave the kids.
No, I would never leave the kids by themselves.
Fine.
Moms, you know this, yeah. I know.
Yeah, I get it, but they can stand there for the 2 minutes that the ride is going to take.
But do you want to know? I wouldn't enjoy myself for the 2 minutes that the ride would be going for.
That's a you thing.
It's always a me thing. What can I say?
Yeah, I know.
It's what it is.
What do you got for your reports?
All right. So nothing is really going on at Doyle for the next week. I mean, on February 14th, they have an early dismissal day on Valentine's Day. And then on
February 14th is Saturday?
It's a Friday. Definitely a Friday.
Oh, okay.
The only reason why I know is because we're having a Valentine's Day party in my class on Friday. So that's the reason why. On February 17th, there's no school for the kids for President's Day. Then they have school the rest of the week. It is the week of kindness that they're going to be doing from the 18th to the 21st. But for the intermediate school, they're actually doing the week of kindness this week. So whatever they're doing probably at the intermediate school, like for like dressing and stuff, is probably going to be for us Doyle parents for the following week. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a heads up what it might be.
A week of kindness.
Just basic. We actually had this the other week in my school. It's just like different things to promote being nice to each other, compliments, stomp out the bullying, all that type of stuff. You know what I mean? So on the 10th at intermediate school, it's like wear pajamas to school. The 11th is wear comfy sweats to school. Basically to show unity, The 12th is wear Disney. The 13th is wear Blue Devil gear, and the 14th is a Valentine's Day outfit. So I'm assuming when it's Doyle's turn for Week of Respect, which is the following week, it'll kind of be the same thing minus the Valentine's Day outfit because
like a silk button down.
I know.
A couple of buttons open.
No, I know.
Some slacks.
But like that's really it for going on at school. Also on February 4th, the second marking period ended. So I know the report cards will be up soon within a couple days also. Faith formation at Assumption. We were supposed to have class today, but it was canceled due to the snow. So group 1's class isn't until March 2nd. And group 2's class is February 23rd. And then their following class is March 16th. So it's going by very, very fast. I always say, well, I'm sorry, what was that?
So it sure is.
I mean, like, once like March hits, because like, you know, because my birthday is March 6th, I always feel like as soon as March hits after my birthday, the school year is just flies by.
We got a busy time coming up.
Well, I mean, March February
1st is
Dane's birthday. Yeah, and
all 3 of our belt promotions.
I know.
In judo.
We're gonna be there all day.
And then your birthday.
Yes.
Then Johnny and Brady's birthday.
Yeah. Oh, my mom's too is in there.
Mama's birthday.
Yeah, then Brady and then Johnny's birthday. Yeah, everything kind of goes fast.
A lot of like interlocking time things like Mother's Day and our anniversary always gets put together. Mm-hmm. A lot of things.
I know.
2 birthdays that are the same.
Yeah.
Well, doesn't somebody else have your birthday?
Oh, Dominic.
Yeah, that's
Tara's
crazy.
kid. Yeah, he is my birthday.
That's kind of crazy, dude.
I know.
Like to have 2 different people in the family. 2 sets of people having the same birthday.
I know, it's insane.
Anybody have my birthday? Anybody matches my birthday? Christmas?
Nope. Only Jesus.
Only Jesus.
You know what I mean?
How about
Jesus? I know.
I never say only Jesus.
I'm sorry, but
and we didn't go to church today. Well,
it was the first time we
day
hadn't
not
gone
going to church, and she's like, just that.
Oh,
Jesus
stop
guy.
it! Stop that.
I know.
But yeah, everything goes by really fast, and I'm very excited to see. I'm totally flipping the topic right now, which is normal. John playing t-ball.
I know.
We were practicing in the yard today. You know, at 8:30 in the morning, the kids wanted to go outside and play in the snow. I'm like, okay, let's go. It took us longer to get them dressed.
You had been up for like 3 hours, 2 hours.
Well, John had night terrors again, so I haven't slept in 3 days. But
John won.
I know, but he's feeling fine actually. He's just, and moms will know. Night terrors are a thing. Like it can have multiple reasons, but when they're like preschool age, it really means that their brain development is just on overload. This is like when the big switch happens. So hopefully tonight he'll sleep. I like to sleep, even though I have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning tomorrow for jiu-jitsu. So I'm not really sleeping in anyway. Yeah. But
5 a.m. jiu-jitsu, girl.
But then next week I am off from school.
Nice.
The entire week.
Jiu-jitsu every day?
Well, no, because you're still working on Tuesday, Thursday in the morning. Yeah. No, but I mean, it's actually gonna be the first year where both boys are in school, like the entire week. So.
Oh, so you really get like actual time off.
Yeah, right? Well, we'll see. I always filled up with something, but yeah, we were practicing in the yard today, throwing. What was that?
Nothing.
What were you laughing at?
Nothing. Go ahead. Go ahead, Kelly. You were throwing
snowballs, and the boys really have a good arm and good aim. I have good aim.
Yeah, we got to work on Daniel. We haven't really done too much. I'm just waiting for basketball.
Yeah, I know you are, but he has to excel at all his sports, and so does John.
Of course.
John was like, "When am I getting a bat?" I'm like, "Oh, great, lovely! You with an aluminum bat? Can't wait."
I don't know where we're gonna practice.
They have to tell you.
Oh, I mean, obviously they will, but I don't know where.
They're probably going to be shuffling around at the actual t-ball field. And then probably down in Westmont over there.
I guess we're going to have to. Hopefully the soccer field to be open or something.
I guess, but they're well, yeah, probably.
I mean, listen, when we coach t-ball, I don't even really practice batting.
No, for that you don't really need to.
You don't have the kids, and I'm petrified of the kids swinging the bats at each other.
Oh yeah,
I feel like that's another like. I don't know, when we were in Little League, like you got a whole uniform.
Oh yeah,
You got, the whole uniform. You have to buy your cleats. You have to buy your mitt.
that was it.
They would have like 5 helmets. It would always be a problem for me because my head was huge, so I always had to have like the biggest one. And then they would have bats. Some kids would have their own bats, but like not everybody.
Yeah.
Now every kid's got to have their own bat. Every kid's got a book bag. Every kid's got a helmet. Every kid's got
the helmet. I can understand though too. It's just because of the whole lice and everything. I can get that. I can understand that. I can.
I guess.
I mean, now anyway. I mean, I never had that.
Certainly not any cheaper than it was.
Well, see, that's the thing too. So $100, right? For what? For a t-shirt that is not even really made that well. That's it.
I mean,
and I'm sorry, t-shirt and socks and a hat.
You have to. You got to pay for the.
Yeah, but the girls' softball teams, they have actual jerseys and pants, like real jerseys and pants.
They might pay more.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm sure they're able to keep the jersey.
Probably.
I mean,
then you probably have to wear it year by year, and the
well,
kids they might have to pay for the jersey.
Now, my question is, like, how come, like, for T-ball, how come we're on a different team every single year? Do sponsors just drop out? Because we were on 2 different teams.
I don't know if they drop out, but it moves around.
And every year, it's like you have just like different kids, pretty much.
Well, the kids, we do a draft each year.
Yeah, but I just feel like, I don't know. There's just always like I guess because there's only 2 years that they're really doing it for. Pre-K and kindergarten.
There's definitely gonna be new kids.
Yeah.
The rotating of the team names, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
You might, if I'm sponsoring a team, you might want to rotate so you get the older kids eventually.
That's true. Yeah. No. Yeah. I didn't really thought about it that way.
I feel like the older teams stayed the same for a while. At least for us, like the Lions is an older team. Lions PBA. See, I guess when it was us, it was Lions PBA. Fiesta had a team. I don't know if they still do. I guess they do. Lions PBA Fiesta, and then maybe South Bergen Savings. I feel like there was one more. I don't know. But that was about it. Yeah. Like
I remember when I was in T-ball, Lyndhurst, we were the twins. We were the twins forever.
Oh, yeah, we didn't do professional.
And
games.
my dad would always coach, so he was like, I was actually the bag, still in my back girl jersey too. Like when my brother was playing, like he had Buddy, he had everyone on the team. Actually, I think Buddy's dad and my dad were coaching together, and like he had the same team for I don't know how many years. 'Cause I think T-ball was actually a little bit.
It doesn't work like that.
Because like I was.
But what if you have all the best kids in your team? You get to just keep those kids forever? No.
I don't know.
There's a draft. Had to be.
I guess.
For T-ball, the younger kids, it doesn't really make a difference. But once it starts getting competitive, you're not just getting all the good kids and then they're on your team.
Like for soccer, that's what we did. We never switched up teams until we went to a different division. Like we were always on the same team.
For rec?
For rec, yeah.
That's weird.
We were. Well, I was also on when they opened up a new team in soccer. I remember like there was a draft or whatever, but then like we were together for like 3 years. And that's why we won first place 3 years in a row.
Was every team together or just you guys?
Every team was together.
Oh, that's weird.
Like when we got up to like the third division, I think it was like 6th through 8th grade or something. It was. But
that's strange. That doesn't make any sense.
Know. Things were a lot different back then, I feel, too. I don't know if it was the same thing over here.
We didn't do it like that back then.
Yeah, it was a little different in Lyndhurst.
And you're just playing against other kids from Lyndhurst?
Mm-hmm. But they had, like, for soccer, there was, like, a big influx. Like, everyone played soccer for girls anyway. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It was going back a long time ago.
All right, well, before the kids tear upstairs up anymore, let's wrap this one up.
Okay.
All right, Go Eagles. I don't care if I'm a Cowboys fan. I think the Eagles are going to win.
Yeah. Go Eagles.
Shout out to Scotty Belish.
Yes.
My brother's an Eagles fan, so good for him.
If he's awake right now, he was probably out last night doing all the
He don't sleep.
shoveling and stuff.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching, especially if you're still at this point. We appreciate it. Make sure you please like and subscribe. Subscribe, very important on the YouTubes. You have anything else, Kelly?
Not really.
All right. Well,
Have a good week.
have a good week. Kelly, I love you.
I love you too.
And I love you guys too.
Bye.
Peace.